Welcome back. I'm Kevin Freeman, and on the second half of the program here, we're joined by Brian Russo, who is the Assistant Director of Development, Athletics, and Constituent Support. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Kevin.
That's a long title. It has a lot of things involved in it. So tell us a little bit, break down, if you would, a little bit about what you do for UNCP and what a typical day is like for you.
It is a long title. My primary responsibility is athletic fundraising, so it can be done in a number of ways. First, somebody might just want to join the Braves Club, become a friend of the athletic department, so they can make a gift that way. Another way would be making a gift directly to an athletic program, so making a gift directly to the football program, perhaps to help support buying new uniforms or new equipment, something like that. And then the final way would be with making a gift to a scholarship, whether it's a scholarship that's ongoing as an endowed scholarship, or somebody might want to start their own scholarship. So there are a couple ways that people can get involved in that way, and my job is primarily to go out and find those prospects and then help them decide what they want to do.
Okay, well, we'll get into some specifics about that here in a second, but do you deal primarily, therefore, with the athletics department as a whole, meaning that you might work with like Dan Kenny in his office, or do you deal with each sport on a much more individual kind of basis?
Definitely it's going to be more overall, the entire athletic department, but it is important for me to develop relationships with each of the coaches so that I know what their needs are, so that if we find somebody who's wants to get involved with women's tennis, I know exactly what Robin's needs are and what the team's needs are, so that I can talk to that donor about what they might need. So it's definitely an overall umbrella, but I do have relationships with each of the coaches.
Sure, and it makes absolutely perfect sense to have that good working relationship with all the coaches. Well, kind of in a related note then, how closely do you work with Dan Kenny and Vice Chancellor Lowry and the coaches when it comes to raising money for athletics? I mean, you're on the phone with these guys all the time. How does it work?
Absolutely. Vice Chancellor Lowry is my boss. As a member of the Office of Advancement, I report to her directly in the organizational chart. But I really have, it's a invisible line that I straddle between the Office of Advancement and the athletic department. So Dan and I talk constantly every day, and we have a number of projects that we work on together. Same thing with some of the coaches. If they have an idea maybe for a reunion they want to have, bring back some old players, then I'll help them get lists of old players that we have in our database and help contact them and do some planning like that. So it stretches over everybody.
Well, talk us, if you can, through the process of first contact to actually making a deal with, it could be an alumni, a corporate sponsor, an individual sponsor, whatever you like. For example, maybe, what does it take maybe to get a corporate logo, say, on one of the new scoreboards?
It's really just kind of process like you would think. You know, we might have somebody who comes to us and says, you know what, I want to make a gift to a program. So that's real simple. We find out exactly what they want to make a gift to. If we have to sort of go out and cultivate somebody, it's going out and just establishing a relationship with them. Sitting down, talking to them, seeing what their interests are, if they want to be somebody who wants to advertise with us, or if they're somebody who just wants to make a gift and be a friend of the program and just sort of experience it that way. So it's really about building that relationship and just identifying what their goals are.
I know you have quite a few of anonymous donors as well, and why would someone want to be an anonymous donor? What's the reasoning behind it?
Sometimes people just, they want to, it's that altruistic nature, they want to make a gift, but they don't necessarily want to, sort of reap any of the rewards for it. And their reward is just making that gift and having our student athletes have more resources to better themselves.
Okay, well, how much do you deal with individual donors as well? Like, I know you work with UNCP alumni, for example, to try to get them to give to athletics. I mean, what percentage of your job, I guess, in other words, is divided, say, between individual donors, alumni, corporate donors, that sort of stuff?
I guess you could probably break it up, 50% being individual donors, and then 25 being corporate donors, and then probably the other 25 being people who are advertising with the athletic department, athletic department sponsors. Primarily, it's going to be the individual donors, people who were former student athletes or alumni who just enjoy the athletic part of being at college. And then it's just working with all of them and keeping those relationships strong.
And I certainly know it's the goal of you and your office and the athletics department to increase, of course, the number of donors. And we'll talk a little bit about after the break about how budgets have been affected and some of these little tricks that you have to learn in order to do that. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about football and other things. So we're going to take our first break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little more to Brian Russo about other things that he does, and we'll advertise the Car Cash Bash coming in early April.